Hi, everybody.
Hey.
I'm dark, so you can't see me.
That's okay. How are you?
I'm good, Mackenzie. How are you?
Good. Tired.
No. Yes, I was like, today is the team call day. Chris called, and now this call.
Yeah.
So,
Hi.
hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I am good. Sorry I'm so dark.
You're okay. Okay.
Thank
As long
you.
as we can hear you.
Yes, that's the most important.
How you been, Tamika?
I've been good, Maria. How are you?
Good, I'm good. I don't have any feedback or anything, do I?
No, you're good.
Cool. Well, I know we only have a short amount of time. We wanted to keep it short and sweet. I know most coaches should be joining right about now. Had a few that they'll have to watch the recording. But Juanita, you're on like the spotlight, so you'll be the most prominent one here through the call. But yeah, maybe I'll just start introducing you and we can get rolling. But this is Juanita. We met through class and then further conversation over coffee and walks. And she's been instrumental in me exploring different limitations and goals and obstacles. And she's just been a really cool friend. And she did Lift 4 and is completing it as we speak. So she can speak our language in doing programs and working through it. And how that relates to what we do as coaches. And she knows a lot with what she does as a life coach. So wanted her to take the floor with you guys and just share, really dig into some good, solid goal setting and catalyzing and action, which we all need help with. So yeah, Juanita, if you want to start, we can get it going. Hopefully more people join, but I appreciate you taking time.
Yeah, no, this is perfect. So on the call, we have Tamika and I didn't catch your name.
Sorry, it was muted. Mackenzie.
Mackenzie and Tamika. Awesome. Okay. So what I was thinking for today is I'll tell you a little bit about myself and what I do as a life coach. And then I'll share some things that I was speaking with Maria about that I think are good tools that can serve you in your life. Like I've used them to move my projects forward, but are also things that we can use in conversations with challengers. And I'm kind of like, yeah, I'll tell you what my experience has been with that, and especially in relation to Lift 4. So kind of brings it all together. And so I've been working as a life coach, basically started this year. I've been working in corporate finance for pretty much most of my life. Got my MBA at NYU and was on for the CFO path. And earlier this year, started my life coach training and realized that this is awesome. Can't believe I didn't find this earlier, and this is what I'm meant to do in my life. And so that's what I'm going through now, still going through my training, working to get certified in January. And what I do as a life coach is basically supporting people achieve their goals. Similar to what you guys do on the fitness and health space. And we all have wild dreams. We all have this awesome things that we want to do. And my belief and where I come from as a life coach is that I believe that we can. That all of my clients have what it takes to get whatever wild dreams they have come true. And what I'm there for is just to help them identify what is in the way. What is in the way of them having this awesome life, this great job, this amazing partner, whatever it is, and help them work on those things that are in the way and like move forward in a way. Some of the core things that we talk about and we work about around in coaching is around responsibility and choice. And the way we see it, responsibility is more about taking responsibility, taking ownership for things, meaning I am at cause of what happens. I am at choice of what happens. And so what I want to talk about today mainly is choice. So thinking about the choice that we have in our lives, in our actions, in our futures, and how we can choose from different places. Yeah, does that sound good?
Yes.
Cool. So the first, I'm gonna say, like, distinction that I want to make is when we talk about choice, we think about three options. We can make a choice that is empowering, we can make a choice that is disempowering, or we can just not make a choice at all, which is disempowering in itself. So can you think of something in your life in this moment that you are not choosing?
Do you want me to share? And then feel free, Tamika and Kinsey, if you guys have something that.
Yeah.
Because Juanita and I talk all the time.
I can't really think of anything. I'm sure there's something, but.
Yeah.
And now today's been my day of interviews and difficult questions. Okay.
Well, think about it more. I can share one and this was before I started Lift 4. And that was kind of one of the things that led me to start this. And I started this around July. And I had met Maria, I think a month before or something. And I wanted to start a workout. I moved to Indy last year. I don't think I mentioned this. And I hadn't found like a studio or a place that I like going to. I go to the Y sometimes, but not regularly. And I wanted to start something. But I didn't choose anything to start, which is disempowering in itself, because I just kept having this thing in my mind of like, oh, you say you want to work out, but you haven't chosen anything. But I want to, but I haven't. But I want to, but I haven't. So can you see how not choosing ends up being disempowering?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
And something Juanita and I have talked about, and I'm sure you guys know, but a thing that I've been doing the past 8 years it's led up to the point where it's completely normal for me to do a challenge group every month. It's completely normal for somebody to reach out to me with health and fitness, and I have my toolkit and it's clear for me what to do, and you guys know that. But the hard part is, having conversations with people that I think would be awesome coaches. And Kinsey and Tamika, you guys are perfect examples of people that I thought of long before we ever had the conversation to be on Team Lettuce. But I drug my feet and I wanted it to be natural, and I just had all these excuses. And that goes on times 10 now, because that's my next focus. And that's, again, what I need to work on to take me to the next leadership level, is help develop you guys, and then also help really continue to do what we're doing tonight. But anyway, long story short is have conversations with people that I think would be great and just open myself up to them. Coaching is amazing for me, and I don't know where I would be without it. I wouldn't probably be doing this full time in the way that I'm doing it full time. Long story short is I know why it's good for me, but it's very scary for me to open that up to somebody else. And there's reasons for it. And I really, a lot of it is not practical and not, not getting to the bottom of it, like what Juanita's going to help us with. But that's like my sticking point. I know I need to be getting new coaches every month, and it's not happening the way it needs to. And this is why I'm talking to Juanita and another life coach and that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that, Maria, because something else that I want to pick from what you said is that choice is also something that it's ongoing, right? Like, because Maria, for example, like you may have chosen to do this, but every day you choose it again. Mm-hmm. Every day that you reach out to a new coach, every day that you get a new challenger, you choose it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so something else is that sometimes we know, right? And then when Maria was saying like, yeah, I know that I can reach out to people, but it's scary, or I'm not sure how to, or things like that. And those are the things that are in the way, right? Like, I want to do this, I just don't know how.
Right.
And so something that I found, two things that I want to share with you today that I found useful in this, where we choose from. Right? Like we can choose from fear, we can choose from love, we can choose from comfortable, or we can choose from adventure, different places that we can choose from. And so the the two things that I want to talk about is one, the concept of integrity, and the other is the concept of commitment. And these are different things, and just see them as tools that we can use ongoing. And so integrity, I think something pretty cool, and the way we look at it is, well, no, actually first, like what do you think when I talk about integrity?
Like being accountable for self, like standing in self.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so your word is your word, your actions are pure, your heart is pure, like standing in the best of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
I think just like being someone that, yeah, other people can rely on, or they know when they're working with you, it's like the real you and they're going to get the best you every time.
Yeah. Yeah. So I hear accountability, pure, sticking to your word, reliability, you are the real you. And some words that you used, Tamika, like the way we look at integrity is basically the alignment of what you think, what you say, and what you do. Think of it, alignment of intentions, words, and actions.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that the way that we use that is think that I am in integrity when those three things are aligned. And I am out of integrity when one of those things is not aligned with the others. And it's not good or bad, and it's not all or nothing. Like I am out of integrity in my life and collapse. It's just in specific things. So think about something in your life, and you can write it down somewhere in your life where you are out of integrity. And so for me, for example, one of those things is self-care in terms of eating healthy. So this last week was my partner's birthday. The week before, my parents were here visiting. And so I'm like, yeah, eating healthy, having 6 meals a day, and having my shake in the morning and all these things. But for the last 2 weeks, I've been having crazy hour meals and more dessert than I've had in the last 2 months. And so I'm out of integrity with myself. So can you think of, and you can share them or just write them down, but places where you are out of integrity in your life?
Oh yeah. Plenty of examples. Yeah, I think that there's, like, for me, for example, working from home is amazing and I'm super productive in many ways, but there's so many opportunities where, you know, it's a TV show or it's a social media scroll or it's a, you know, somebody invites you to do something that you're doing for them instead of for you. And there's plenty of examples of that. And then today was an example, or actually this week I had the owner of I'm having people reach out to me for things that sound good to them for me to do, but it's so not in alignment with what I want to achieve. And it doesn't closer to why I'm doing this business. Like, for example, I want to do this business so I can work from anywhere, be easier on my body, take care of me more, and still be a health and fitness expert and help people with that by walking the walk. But I don't need to physically be there. I mean, I love being physically there, but that's limited. Like, that energy is limited. And so even though people want for me to be somewhere, I have to turn those things down. I have to say no to a lot of things to be in integrity with myself and my goals. And I'm learning that more so now than ever, now that people think, because I am available, they think, you know. So anyway, that's my big hurdle right now, but I'm working through it. But it's definitely, I have to remember, like, go back to your list of what you want and what your goals are and what your priorities are.
Yeah. How do you think you could use this concept of integrity either for yourself or for your challengers or the coaches that you have?
So for me, it would be pretty simple to say, I mean, just checking in with people when they say, oh, I'm skipping this week. Like, all, you know, they committed to the challenge, an 8-week challenge, and then they skip a week. And how do you call somebody out before that, when you know that's not with their original goals, although things can always change. But how do you help them even identify that within themselves?
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And so integrity, we can use it in many different ways, but the two main ways that we use it as a tool in this sense of choice is, one, noticing when you're making a choice, if it's something that keeps you in integrity or that puts you out of integrity. And you may still make the choice, right? Like, I may still decide to have my chocolate chip cookie because it's just so good, but it was my choice. Like, it didn't just happen. Yeah. So that is kind of like one of the main things. And it's just having a tool to where I choose from. In integrity, out of integrity. My choice, my responsibility. Yeah.
Awesome.
The other practice that we have with integrity is, and this is more of an ongoing thing, and I was sharing this with Maria, but it's having an integrity list. And so we have all these things that we're out of integrity of. And so I would invite you to either after this call or tomorrow or something, just write a list. We call it the integrity list of all those places where you are out of integrity. And so write that down and keep it with you, with your planner, with your agenda, whatever that is, and make a practice. The invitation is to make a practice to take one of those things off the list every day. And so it could be small things like, haven't done my laundry in 5 days. Maybe I need to do that because I am all for clean underwear. And so, or it may be something bigger. Like I said, I'm all for family and I haven't talked to my brother in a week. What's up with that? And so making a practice of having this list and ongoing things, it'll never be blank, right? Like there may always be things there, but having things go on and off the list. Do you see any value in having that integrity list? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something that we were talking about with Maria in terms of that list is also thinking about how it can generate time. So think about like somewhere where you are out of integrity, how much time and energy you spend thinking about that. A little bit.
Yeah.
And so taking that out and taking all that time and energy back and putting that into where you are in integrity, whether it's your family, your coaching, your own health and fitness, whatever it is. So having that as a cool.
I love that. Yeah. I think that was when we talk about that stuff, it's so eye-opening for me because it's like I can keep dragging it's like just like a mountain, right? Like it keeps getting bigger and bigger the more we procrastinate on inviting, like growing our team, or the more we put all this pressure on, oh my gosh, 3 people is so much a month, when we know that it's work to build your brand and to build trust. It's a process for sure, but we also complicate things all the time. We make, like, think of our challengers, how they could think it's so complicated to lose the weight, when if they follow a pretty simple formula, they do have success, but they could focus on all of their excuses instead. And really they could just, we know this, right? You put just as much energy in thinking about it or doing it, even more just thinking about it. So just do it. And I was telling Juanita that a lot of our coaches are great at the nutrition part. Like Kinsey's doing Whole30, like Tamika's doing Lift 4-2. Like I see Joy and Brenna joined and they've had great transformations. And I think we have to take accountability and choice for the fact that a lot of those things are easy for us now. I know for me, I could say it's hard all day long, because it is. It's not like I was always going to be a person who loved dessert, and or I could say, you know what, Marie, you actually have that figured out. You know what to do. Like, let's put our energy towards the other stuff that's difficult. And I know that I have such a hard time being like, you can do it, like it's simple, because I know life's not that simple. But I'm not doing my team any favors by saying it's hard to reach Success Club or it's hard to grow a team, because I've done it and you guys can do it too. And that's what Juanita's for and what these calls are for and these questions for ourselves are for, because like it's not like we don't know. Like we could look up a list how to get challengers. We could look up a list on how to lose weight. We can look up a list. Like it's all there. Google's there. YouTube's there. The trainings are there. But what's really getting in the way of us pressing play on those actions? You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And this leads me to the other part that I wanted to talk about, that was about commitment. And it's something that that I learned more recently, kind of like this idea of different types of commitments, and has helped me tremendously in making those choices. And it's think for a minute of your top 3 commitments, like your top 3 highest commitments in life. You don't have to share, but like I want you to have them present. Yeah. Now think, if I were to look at you for the last 3 weeks, if I looked at your actions, what would I say were your biggest commitments? What would I say you're committed to? Yeah. For me, one of those things, one of my highest commitments is to take care of my whole self. That is one of the commitments I hold highest of all. If you look at my actions, some of my automatics are a lot of planning. So related to the not making choices, planning, but no choice at all. And looking good to others, looking good to others really, because for myself, it would be my whole self. So what I want you to notice here is that there's basically 2 commitments. There's the stated commitment, what I say I'm committed to, what I say I hold most valuable. And then there's the default, what I actually do. And those are basically 2 places to choose from. So I can choose to take care of my whole self, or I can choose to just look good to others. How that may look like is in a workout, for example. I can choose to do my workout and do it in the morning or do it at whatever time. Or I can choose to say yes to a call with my family because I want to look good with them, and that's the only time they can. It's not good or bad, it's just different places that I'm choosing from. Something that I want you to notice in this, and this is what has been really helpful for me, because often I'm like, well, I know what I want. Like, I know I want to take care of my whole self. I just don't know how to choose that. It feels really hard because that feels hard. It's going to be hard. And the reality is that more often than not, the stated commitment, the decision seems hard, but the execution is easy. The default, the decision is really easy, but the execution is actually hard. Can you see that? Or what do you see in that? Maybe either in your lives or in your coaches or in your challengers.
Maybe, do you have an example, Juanita, of
Yeah.
that specifically for you? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this is actually funny because my partner is doing Lift 4 with me. And so he said it and I was like, oh, I know what that looks like. Thursday afternoon, we usually work out in the mornings. That day we didn't. We were going to work out in the afternoon and we still had to afterwards make dinner. We're going to a concert. He was laying in bed. We could go to the workout, which felt hard because it required like getting up and actually changing, walking to the Y, doing it, or we could just postpone it and not do it. That felt super easy, right? Like we could have just said like, yeah, let's just chill and then we'll do it another day. And if we did that, it would have actually felt really hard after because it would have been like, oh, we failed, like we didn't do it, we should have done it, da, da, da. we did it, which felt like a hard decision to make. And then when we were coming back from doing the workout, we felt great. And he pointed out, like, no, like, sometimes it's really hard to actually wake up or actually change and go to the gym, but afterwards you feel awesome. And so the default is, the choice is really easy. Just stay in bed. But the execution is really hard. You'll most likely be beating you up for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think an example for me at that, again, like maybe it's not the workout anymore, again, like speaking to people who've conquered that essentially at this point, and still, it still can be, but the big thing that I read, like a networking event, or like I met with a girl on Saturday who my mind was blown because I did so many amazing things, but it was so easy for me to say no, or to schedule, or to say, I need time for me. And that's where it can be kind of confusing, because like, what's time free? And I was talking to Juanita about this, like, what do I need for me? Like family time, recharge, but then there's things that I say yes to that afterwards I'm always so grateful I said yes to, even though it would have been so easy to reschedule, like not being on the team call, or not going on a walk with Juanita and talking about hard things, and not talking about social media things with an expert on Saturday. But I was so revived and I came away from a lot. But there are some examples where I meet with people and I'm drained and that wasn't worth it. And it's a lesson. And I have to remember that that's just feedback. Like there are some messages that you're going to send out and they're going to be total duds and they feel like a waste of time. But then there's those few that you have that come through and it's worth it. And so for me, it's like that next conversation. And that's general. A lot of times it's in person, and forcing myself to be social outside of how social I am with like the fitness stuff that I do. It's just, I don't need to be, just that whole, it's like a workout to me. It's like putting more energy out in extending my reach. But that's crucial. And I think a lot of us are really busy. We all work, like you guys all work full time. I was working full time and we do a lot, but I know that there's those few things that we're on the cusp of it being easy and simple, but it's like, we just put it off because we haven't bridged that crossover. And so I love that you say, actually it's easy. We just have to like execute that for it to be easy.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Maria. And I think, these are things that can serve you in your personal life, in your professional life. For me, my highest commitments are not just around this, right? Like I have my commitments also around my relationship, my family, myself. I think because of the call being more about coaches and what do you do as part of Team Lettuce, I was wondering if you guys want to share things that maybe that you're struggling with right now in the team or in your moving forward with the team, and how you can see this, either the integrity, the choice, or the commitment could serve you in that.
I definitely feel like, so I'm a theater teacher, and like over the summer, I had a ton of time. And so I was really gung-ho this summer, and I was like, okay, I'm going to like get people to join me. I'm going to do a challenge. This is going to be great. And I got a couple people that were interested, but I do feel like my friend group is very tight and small, and I feel like I don't have a lot of free time because I'm always like late after school for rehearsals and things like that. But I still try to squeeze in like my workout in the morning and my eating healthy and sharing that. But it's like, again, doing that extra step of like, when can I like reach out to people, or, making that extra effort, even though I'm like, okay, I'm trying to space out. I need me time and free time and I have work, but I also do want to stay committed even during work to Beachbody. And I kind of notice like as soon as I do get into school, I guess like Beachbody kind of like falls a little bit more to the side for me. Like I still maintain my stuff, but not like, doing challenges and reaching out to people as much.
Yeah, I can see that. And I can see a lot of people having those same struggles. So thank you for sharing, because I don't think you're alone. And can I offer you something?
Mm-hmm.
So something that I found useful is also knowing, and that's why I asked about like what are your commitments, and
Mhm.
they change, right? Like, and for you they may change in school and out of, I'm gonna say, out of season, season. But think about what your commitments are, because then you have almost like something to measure your actions with, right? Like, is this aligned with my commitments or isn't? But without defining those commitments, it's hard what you're comparing to. Like, how are you measuring this? How are you measuring whether you are in integrity or out of integrity if we don't know what the intention is?
Mhm.
Yeah, does that resonate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bren, I saw you join. Are you able to talk at all?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
It's okay.
I was getting myself ready. I just put Braden to bed, so I'm a mess.
No worry. No, you're not. Thanks for joining. I think I saw Joy join too. But basically, just so you guys can get caught up on Juanita, she is a life coach, and she could have, and this is what impressed me, she could have gone down the route of being a CFO, like corporate MBA, all this stuff, but she chose to do this, which is not better or worse, but just I think it's amazing because it's going to help CFOs and CEOs like us take what we need to the next level. But anyway, she understands she's finishing up her full-time job while she's launching her business. And it's just something that we all are dealing with that, right? Like I dealt with it to get to a point where I don't have to, but something that helped me, guys, and this is down to the integrity list. And correct me if I'm wrong, like for me, for a long time, I didn't know if this was going to be a side thing or if this was going to be a full thing. And that helped, right? That helped knowing I eventually wanted it to be a big part of my life. And it was the biggest part of my heart. Like, even though I love making money in sales, like it wasn't my everything. And over time, I realized that more and more, but then I kind of backpedal, like maybe I'm shorting myself. Maybe I could be sales, marketing, leadership at another company. And so I kind of wavered and I stepped back, but then I stepped back in talking about seasons, like in terms of integrity. And so I don't know if you guys can identify with this or not, but if you know that this is going to be something for you long term, or you want it to be 50% of you because you know you work yourself too hard and you care too much about stupid stuff at work, or your family stresses you out, so you know that this, the more you fulfill yourself in this, the happier you are just as a person. Like what Juanita is talking about, I think is super helpful to be like, where does coaching fulfill you? And then there's just the brass tacks of, it can create, if it's a priority for you to create extra income for yourself, that's where those conversations that are really annoying become worth it, because you're paying your bills and you really don't have a choice. So it's like not even annoying anymore. It's like, I have to do this to feed my family, and it's awesome still because it's something fun I'm doing to feed my family and I believe in it. So that's just some examples of like integrity meets urgency meets, it's not hard anymore because I'm clear with my integrity list.
Yeah, and I think just to add to that,
like
Maria,
Brenna, for you.
yeah, just to add to that, like in the end, and that's kind of what I was pointing to before, that if you know what your commitment is, like why are you doing not why are you doing this, but what are you doing this for? And it may be to create that extra income. Well, how much? Or it's to connect to more people. Well, how many? Right? Like setting those goals, that's what makes the decision. I don't know if that's what triggers the decision. Right? Like, this is what I'm doing this for. Maybe it's not something I love to do, reaching out to people, posting on social media, but it's less of a burden when it has this higher purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I was going to ask, like Brenna or Joy or Tamika, like you guys are really busy too, similar to Mackenzie. Oh, sorry, someone's trying to talk. Was someone
I
trying to say
unmuted
something?
myself. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. But yeah, just what drives you to do the things you're doing despite being exhausted, like all the time, like all of us.
Yeah.
But
Well, I can speak to that because for me, it's flexibility and freedom, I guess. I'm a teacher, obviously, but I'm at the point in my career where I don't know how much longer I can do it, and I don't want to ever leave the career because it's gotten the best of me. So I want to be able to be home and have more flexibility with my kids now before my kids are completely grown and then I don't have anything anymore. So for me, you know, I get up at 4:30 and I'm invited at 4:30 in the morning because that's the only way I can do it. And it's taken me a really long time to figure out what I need to do to move forward. And I don't have all the answers because, you know, if I did, it'd be happening tomorrow. But I think for me, the biggest struggle is like the time piece and it being like, is it worth it for the hustle that I'm doing now? You know, like, is there going to be the payoff, I guess, is what sometimes I struggle with because I kill myself, you know, some days. But I love it. I love what I'm doing. So, you know, I'm not really killing myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing, Brenna.
Yeah. I think it's really, thank you for sharing that. And it makes me think also, like, what you're sharing in your story is so much of what probably your own coaches and your own challengers go through. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that makes the conversation easier or harder, but for me, for example, and like for me, this happened with Maria, was just like, she's going through it too. She's gone through things, like real people do this. I can do this too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to make sure we had more time. But yeah, I mean, I know that this can be like scary to talk out loud, and I know you guys are just getting to know Juanita, but for me, what was so eye-opening was just to say the things out loud. And it seems simple, and like a lot of the stuff we might know in our hearts, but I think for example, Juanita, we have this like list, like we're going to work on tomorrow. We're going to organize a group, like power pockets. Just sometimes it could be, let's just simplify it and put a action plan together and follow it and prove to yourself that you can, you know, simplify it. But I think the integrity list is, I think everyone talks about that, like draw a line in the sand for yourself. Where does the business fall for you? Where do the programs fall for you? And identify where that falls in your life. And then if it is something that you want to create income, or if you want it to create friendships or a team or something that you can lean on as you're in your work, what does that look like to you? And then just try it. Try these little challenges that we do with like recruiting coaches or growing your team or getting 3 people a month. Like, you know, that's something that if I'm a successful coach, I can get majority of my team to help 3 people a month. And that's a struggle. That is a struggle. And where am I not connecting the dots to help you guys do that? And I'm not doing anyone a service by thinking that you guys shouldn't, you know, that you can't, because I know you can. And so that's where I think Juanita really helps you ask yourself those questions. And then if you can share it out loud, I think that's where the magic kind of happens. Like, Joy, can you think of anything? I know you joined the call.
Hey.
I don't know if she can speak.
Hey guys. So I just keep thinking to myself, like, one of my like stumbling blocks is this quote that's like, the enemy of success is comfort. And I guess like, because when I started coaching, and I've always been a teacher like Brenna, right, and always had a full-time job, had the health insurance, had my retirement lined up, had income coming in. And so that for me, I've always been able to lean on it. Like, okay, I'm comfortable. Like I am not struggling in the finances, that type of way. And so I'm really not, I feel like I'm like hustling sometimes, but I'm not straight up hustling like every day, like I've been learning about for 3 freaking years, you know? So I think like I haven't gotten like down to my why, like to the crux of it. And it's hard for me to really like get down to the why, because it's like, why am I doing this? Because I'm comfortable and I have a job that's fine. So it's hard for me to really like say those things out and be really, really specific. when I am comfortable. So I'm kind of like always hovering in this like mediocre area when I know I could be greater. And it's like, why am I being like a human, right? And allowing just comfort to be the enemy of success. And that's where I like, it's like that, like evil circle I'm going around and around. Like, should I make myself more uncomfortable so I like do better? That kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love
No,
it.
thanks for
That's so
sharing that. When you said health insurance, I was like, yep. Yep. I think with Maria, we've had this conversation. It was like, and it's funny because, and we all get attached to different things, right? Like, when I was deciding to leave my corporate job, I was mega attached to my cell phone. It's like, what if I lose my cell phone number? Like, I want my cell phone number. It's a 917. It's crazy things. It's crazy talk. Like, I'm not going to follow my dreams because I want a 917. Not sure. And so, yeah, thanks for sharing that. And something else that you said is like, I'm fine. And that's actually something I talk a lot about with my clients. And when I talk about coaching, it's that most of the people that we work with and I guess my life before coaching, it was fine. It was like fine and comfortable. I had a good job. It was all of that. It was just more than success. It's just that I wanted awesome. And so everything that I've been working on and that I've been doing and what I help people do is go from fine to amazing. Because they want to. Because they can stay in fine. Like it is fine. Fine is fine. But if you want awesome, okay, let's do it. You know? And in the end, that's what you work on with people too. Because often they're also fine. They just want to feel that extra strength, that extra accomplishment. Like for me, finishing with 4, I feel mega strong. And before I wasn't unhealthy or anything, I just was fine.
Yeah, I like that.
I love that. That's so real.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Mika, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with her. I liked what she said. Like, you just feel fine, so you just like I'm comfortable. I'm okay. So it's not like I have to, because I don't really need to.
Yeah.
But you
Right.
want to, so you have to find those things inside you to push yourself.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where the integrity lists come in at. Like,
Yeah, thanks for seeing that too.
yeah, like that's the connection I'm making. Like, okay, so you say you want to do something, and then you have to make the decision to do it or not do it, right? So you either stay with your comfort, or you have to push past your comfort, and that's my thing. I'm comfortable. I'm okay. Like I'm not hungry, so I push play every day, and I share my story, which was super hard for me to do in the beginning. But I share my story every day because I want people to know, like, well, if she could do it, I can do it too. But I'm not like, hey, come and join me. Like that's the hard part for me. Like I'll say, this is what I do, and I usually get, oh, I can't do what you do. You do too much, or I can't be on your level. Like you're just way, and I'm like, I'm not a super person. Like I'm barely making it through my workouts alive sometime. What do you mean you can't do what I do? You can't just move your body for 30 minutes?
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's that hard concept of like trying to break it down for people to understand, like, I didn't start at the level that I'm at. I'm not at the highest level. I might never be there. Like I'm just a small person who's trying to be healthy every day, and you can do that too. You can be a small person that's just trying to be healthy, and that's it. Just trying to be healthy and happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I would say like all of the people on the call are doing an incredible job at, again, walking the walk and sharing their journey. And that's a lot for some people. Some people can't press play. Some people can't press post. Some people can't be energetic enough because a lot of us are introverts to like shake a hand and be of value to a person. But the business drives us to be better than we are. And I think we always feel better for it. Like, I could struggle with depression and feeling really down on myself, or I could put myself in a room and walk away more rejuvenated by that energy, even though all of my being said, stay safe, stay fine, and just hang out with your family because that's comfortable, So it's completely helped me evolve to the person that I am, that no one would think that I'm shy. No one would think that I struggle with those confidence things. But those things that I remember, all the struggles, and you guys do a good job of this, I just turn into my posts. And I think I see that with Brenna, I see it with Kinsey, I see it with all of you guys. Like, as soon as you do your workout, it all floods to you, and then you make your posts and you share your struggles, and they do such a good job of that. I just think a lot of, if I'm being frank, I see so many people like you guys have so much ability to, provided it is within your integrity, like you guys really have an impact, and it's just bridging that next gap of, I think, believing that you have that impact and at what level you have that impact, and realizing that when you're that amazing, it's not that hard. Like, it's almost like you have to fight the energy to be like, people want your help, and people want to talk to you, and people want to be connected to a challenge pack. And it can be very, very simple. It can be very, very easy. We just have to get through that. I feel like the biggest thing is our belief that we can be awesome instead of fine. And I love that, Juanita, that you shared the fine versus awesome. And that was the conversation we had at a dinner, where she was like, I could be a CFO. And I was like, that's impressive. But then she's like, but I want to be awesome, and I want to, be everything I thought I could. So I love it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Juanita, what, if I can turn the tables on you a little bit, what got you to want awesome? Like, what were in your world you went to school for it. Like, you thought your life was going to be a certain way.
Yeah.
What?
The turning thing for me was, I started up my training program, my coaching training program in February, but I enrolled for it last August, almost like a year ago. But when I started it, I got my own coach. And so working through that, it was just going through all this awareness and realizing that was a possibility. This awesome always seemed, I told this to a friend one time, and I love Broadway. I absolutely love Broadway and concerts, my favorite thing. And every time I go to this, I see these people on stage, and I'm like, I'm so lucky. Like, who gets to be paid to do what they love? That's insane. It always blew my mind. And as I started doing this, it was basically discovering that I could get paid to do something I love, which made no sense. Like, I never considered that was a possibility. Like, what? And so it was that moment. It was that moment where I was like, I'm doing this and I love it, and people pay, and I can make a living out of it. I don't understand. It was that possibility that awesome could exist for me. So yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So basically, go watch more Broadway shows, or like,
yes,
go to concerts
all the time.
Beyonce, and
yeah.
Like, I want to be Beyonce. I've heard that. That's actually very inspiring, because you do see it in the flesh.
Yeah, it was. I went to Maroon 5 on Thursday, and I think it was one of the first times that I went, and I was like, now I know how you feel. So.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
that is so cool. Yeah, I would share that with Juanita, in that the biggest thing I feel is, like, my downs are more like, I'm not doing as much as I can to be great, but, like, I am doing what I love every second of the day. I really do feel like I'm doing what I love. So if it's any consolation to you guys working hard, or the messages that you send, or the workouts that you press play on, because it is energy outside of the thing that you maybe aren't crazy about, even if you love your job, because I really enjoyed my job. When we take action in doing what we're doing with this, I know you guys all love this and you feel super fulfilled. So just think of it, if you can think of it that way, where it's like, okay, if it falls within my integrity and I'm doing what I love, like, it should be fun. And if it's not fun, we can bridge that gap to find out how it can be fun. Because Juanita, you have to contact people, you have to put yourself out there. It's not like everyone's just, you're making millions of dollars. Like, you love what you do, but you still have to work hard to keep the work related. She's on a call at 9 o'clock on a Sunday,
I don't have to work for it, but I think it's what you said. It just makes it different when I know what I'm doing this for. I know what this means for me.
That's so awesome.
And that is actually a big change. Like working until 9 p.m. on a report to send to, I don't know, the CFO or the director of X and Y. That just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, it annoys me to do it because it's like, but why? Like, what for? This makes no difference in the world. Whereas this, like, this is a big what for. Like you guys are all out there in the world and you're helping all these people. And if this helps in any way empower you or help you make the choices that will have you more fulfilled in your life and will have you align with your dreams, that'll be awesome. Like, this will cascade to so many people. This matters more. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Cool.
Well, I want to make a huge pitch for Juanita. If you guys ever want to contact her, she does free sample sessions, and like, I don't know if she can literally walk with you in Philadelphia, but she walks with me in Indy, and we work through a lot of things. But
yeah.
anyway, go ahead. I don't know if you wanted to.
If like Maria said, I do some like free sample sessions. If you're interested, so if it's okay with you, I would love to follow up with you individually. That's okay. Yeah. So, thank you.
I should do it.
I'll have you on the group. You're on the Lettuce team, so I'll find you there.
Yeah, and then I can give you a list of the people on the call. But did anybody have any questions for Juanita, knowing that this is literally her? We help people with health and fitness, but she helps people literally take action on their dreams. So if you guys have any questions, even no judgment, like if it feels like an excuse, we all have our things we work through. I think I've given Juanita like 1,000 excuses when we've talked. So
yeah.
Cool. Well, that's what obviously she can work with you guys on.
Yeah.
Awesome. Did you have anything else, Juanita, you wanted to share?
No, I really want to acknowledge all of you here for the work that you do, for putting yourself out there, for all the service, the courage, the strength, for being teachers, for being mothers, all of who you are in the world. It's amazing. Thank you for bringing all of that here and in the world.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate Juanita taking the time. She is super busy as well. Again, finishing up her full-time, helping out the CEO, CFOs, and then chatting with us. You guys making time tonight. And no, we're tucking in kids and finishing up teaching and all, waking up early in the morning. But again, I appreciate you guys getting candid and letting me get a little raw and like tougher with you. It's really hard for me to do. But I think you guys deserve to feel what I feel, and whatever that means to you. It really is amazing. Like, I used to dread these calls. I really did. Now I look forward to them. And I think that's a lot to do with my integrity and where I'm coming from and my actions. And I'm making it fun. So that's a big transition for me. And it, of course, is related to leaving something that like dragged my energy. Of course, that's part of it. But there's a big transition that's made when you have conversations with people like Juanita, when you read personal development and you go to Summit and you go to the Super Sundays, which we have one coming up, and all of those things help be a mirror to what we really want. Like, if you were on this call and your skin crawled, and if you go to Summit and you hate it, and if you do a program and you hate it, I think that's great feedback. But if you keep finding yourself drawing back to it, I always follow that sign as listening to what fuels you, So I appreciate you guys too. And Juanita, I'll share everybody's information with you, and vice versa if you guys want to Juanita specifically and root her on with Lift 4 as she finishes it and all that.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for being on the call. And let me know if you guys have any questions. I'll post the recording for you guys to share with your coaches and all that. So
thank you.
All right. Bye, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.